What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Um, Also, just to let you know, all my social media stuff is in the description. You can follow me and all that good stuff. So we start this episode off with Miss Tokyo Vanity, and she's talking to a nutritionalist, and she said, look, I'm gonna go ahead and make this work. I'm gonna do my weight loss journey, but I'm gonna do it my way. I don't need nobody standing over me telling me what I shouldn't do, or can or can't do. And she also seems to have an issue with people who have done it artificially or gone through surgeries and stuff like that. And I understand where she's coming from because I've always said that as well. That um, I never really thought about doing it through a surgery or whatever. But I have friends who have, and I don't look down on it. It's just my personal decision. Um, But Miss Tokyo, now you know I usually ride for you, girl. Now I don't know how much of this she was doing for the camera, how much of this you really meant. But you know good and damn well you trying to lose weight. You can't be eating no Cheetos and drinking no Capri Suns and eating hot fries. Like, you're going to have to make some lifestyle changes. And it is a sacrifice. And it's not easy, because if it was easy, we'd all be a size 8. You know what I mean? But he's trying to talk to you and let you know. And then you got frustrated because it ain't what you wanted to hear. And I don't know what you thought you were going to hear. I don't know what the expectation was. So we get to see a little bit more of Miss Shay Mack in this episode. We see her with her man. We see her with her baby. And it's her man's birthday. And she, I think, might have had some plans for him. We see her singing happy birthday and got some gifts or whatever. And then he lets her know, hey, I got to go to the studio. I got some stuff I need to do. And she was like, well, I'm a little disappointed, but I respect that because, he been holding it down for us. But I'm ready to get back to work. Excuse me, but I'm ready to get back to work. And so she was a little frustrated, but he was real smooth with it. And she was like, well, what time you think you're going to get home? I mean, I shouldn't be home no later than 1, but it is my birthday. The guys might want to go through Magic City or something. So, I don't know. And she was just, you could tell she was disappointed, but she was just like, okay, all right, all right. So then she invites Shakana over to sort of commiserate about it. And Shakana was like, look, you a modern woman, you want to go back to work, you need to go back to work, and y'all need to figure it out. You need to let him know that you need a nanny and that you need this and you need that, so that y'all could go back to work. And I ain't mad at her for her advice or what have you, but again, she said you're going to have to, that's a conversation you need to have with him. And she was right about that. So, and they end up having a conversation, and he's cool with it. He seems to be cool with her working and her going back to work and things like that. So that seems to kind of, for right now, seem to be working out pretty good. Spice goes to talk to Jock, to talk to him about her frustrations and what she wants to do with her song and how she wants to do the whole color bleaching thing and bring attention to it. And Jock gave her some really good advice. Jock said, well, first of all, you want to make sure people are laughing with you, not at you. You don't want to become a laughing stock. You don't want this to become a caricature. You want to really make sure people get it and really make sure that people understand what it is that you're trying to say. And in the interim, he saw the picture and he was just like, wow, like, this is a lot. But he told her, like, look, you want to just make sure, he said, but at the end of the day, he said, if you really feel like you can get through to people and you really feel like you can get people to understand what it is you're trying to say and this is how you have to do it, go for it. I mean, do what you feel like you need to do, right? Later on in the episode, we see Mimi try to get through to Spice. Mimi takes Spice on a civil rights walk. And at the end of the day, it sort of backfired because they got to talking about Madam C.J. Walker. And Spice brought up a valid point. Spice said, so it's okay for you to straighten your hair to try to be more European and be more accepted, but I can't lighten my skin. And Mimi was like, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. On an extreme level, it is. On an extreme level, it is. If you're looking at it from Spice's point of view now, I don't personally think that me perming my hair, because I do perm my hair, I don't think that's me trying to be more European. However, I see the point she's making to say, look, it kind of goes back to that whole hair conversation with Love and Hip Hop Miami with Amara La Negra. Like, what is more acceptable? Whether you like it or not, what is more acceptable? So, it sort of backfired. And we all know that Spice did it anyway. And that's sort of how the episode, I'm just jumping around, y'all, because it was a sort of a filler episode. It wasn't really a lot here. But that's sort of what happened with Spice. At the end of the episode, y'all know we know she did it. We saw the pictures ourselves, and we were questioning, was it Photoshop? Was it real? And come to find out, it was Photoshop. But Spice really does want to lighten her skin. She just wanted to kind of let people know that that's how she felt. That life is easier for light skin. The fellas hang out. It's the first time we saw a fellas scene this season. So we got Jock, Scrap, and Kirk hanging out. So Jock is letting the fellas know that he got a woman, and Scrap sort of in his feelings about it. He like, I feel like he been lying to me all this time. Where's she been? But he letting them know that he really like her, and this is somebody he really enjoys spending time with, and how she wants to go to Cardi's engagement party, and he just don't think it's a good idea. And so the guys were like, well, why not? What's the big deal? Let her go. So what? And he was like, I just don't see that that's going to work out too well. Scrap is, of course, excited about the baby coming and all that good stuff. And Kurt gets to talking about how he's sort of not really happy with how things are going with the baby, with his what's his baby name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The baby he has with Jasmine. He said he feel like Jasmine parties a little too much and relies on babysitters a little bit too much, and how that's just not what he just doesn't think that's conducive. That what's that baby name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. The baby's still in the pull-up at 2 years old and all this other stuff. And he arranges a meeting with Jasmine's mom and grandmother, because that's who keeps every time his name about to come out my mouth, I get stuck. But y'all know who I'm talking about. And so we see later on in the episode where he does actually meet up with her mom and grandmother. And of course Jasmine pops up. Jasmine was like, how stupid does Kurt think I am that he gonna want to meet with my family, and they don't let me know that he coming around. They don't want to tell me that he's coming. So they end up having a conversation, and she ends up letting them know, look, I'm not out partying that much. You act like I've just abandoned my child. I don't do that. But where is this really coming from? Is this coming from you, or is this coming from Rashida? Like, where is this really coming from about you worried about me and my baby and everything? And Kurt was like, well, of course I get input from Rashida. That's, that's my wife. Like, and, we've raised children. So it's not all coming from her. Now, Kurt, you keep pissing me off because every time something come up with that baby, you want to talk about how much money you spend in child support. And it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Remember, let's not forget, for the beginning of that child's life, you ain't want nothing to do with that child because of how the child got here, which wasn't that child's fault. So now that you want to be daddy of the year, you got to tread lightly a little bit. And that's what he kind of was talking to the fellas about how much input, how hard he should push. And the guys were telling him, nah, you got every right to question it. And I don't disagree. He has a right to question certain things. But what I'm saying on the flip side is, you got a right to question certain things, but you need to be real careful about how you approach it. Because at the end of the day, you were MIA for a minute. Every time that baby's name is on the tip of my tongue, and every time I get ready to say it, I get caught up. So then we see the ladies meet up again, and Sierra and Tokyo sort of have it out a little bit, and they get to arguing or whatever. And again, it's about, and Sierra's thing was, I never called Tokyo fat. I just said she needs to take her weight loss journey seriously. And then of course Tokyo starts going off about, well, can't nobody that did it, that laid down on no table, tell me how to do it. And Shekinah was like, well, I did it. I laid down on the table, but now I do want to, go about losing weight in a more traditional way. She was like, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the problem with laying down on the table? Whatever. So they argue, whatever, and there really was no resolution. Tokyo ends up walking off, but Tokyo's like, look, she's just letting them know, like, look, I feel some kind of way because y'all keep coming at me crazy, and I want to do it, but just because I'm not doing it the way y'all want me to do it doesn't mean I'm doing it wrong. I do think you need to take it a little bit more seriously, though, Miss Tokyo. But okay. Then we see the mother-in-laws get up, and they decide to squash the beef because the baby on the way. Bam is being induced, and we see the whole footage of her having the baby and everything, and that was really sweet. The mothers agree to squash the beef. They're going to get along, and then Bam's mother lets them know, I'm here to stay. I'm moving here. I ain't here for a visit, so Lord knows, honey. Lord knows. Um, that's pretty much the only thing, y'all. It really was sort of a filler episode. It wasn't a whole lot there. But that's pretty much that went down. And again, I've already said what I gotta say about the whole weight loss thing. I already said what I gotta say about Spice. You know what I mean? They're gonna drag them storylines out. Um, but that's just pretty much where we are with it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Peace. Ain't no long review here. Not this week.